right, so let me continue in our series on the 7 deadly sins. Before I get in, let me tell you what's happening next week. Very special service next week. It's our annual Faith Promise / Giving to Others service. It's the service in which we take pledges for the coming 12 months to give away some money. We give away 100% of the money that comes in through Faith Promise and Giving to Others. Our goal this year is to give away $100,000 during the next 12 months. Now, we just did that very goal. We just gave away $106,000 over the previous 12 months, so we know it's achievable, perhaps even beyond that. So next week, normal services, 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock. We'll have a guest speaker for the day. His name is Reverend Cosmos Matoa. He is from Johannesburg, South Africa. But he is the field director, or the Compassion Ministries director for the entire continent of Africa, 40-some countries. So he's got some fantastic things to share with us. I had breakfast with him this week. What a great man of God. You will not be disappointed next week to hear from him about what God's doing around the globe, to challenge us in our own hearts, to contribute beyond the walls of our church. So be praying this week about what God would have you to pledge to give over the next 12 months. Next week, we won't receive the money, just the pledges. So you have 12 months in faith to know that God will provide and what you promised to give. So that's next week. We'll share more with you through email and social media this week, but that's going to be a great Sunday next week. All right, so let's get into it. 7 deadly sins. We've already talked about a few of them. Let me walk it through for you here. We've talked about pride, greed, lust, envy, and gluttony. So gluttony, did you enjoy your food all week? All right. That's the first service. Let me ask this. How many of you last week was that the first sermon you've ever heard on gluttony? Good. It's the best one you've ever heard then. That's just what I was looking for. All right. So, gluttony. Then today we're going to talk about anger, and in a couple weeks we'll talk about sloth. Let me remind you of our sermon statement. Again, this has been around for centuries, but I think at some point we better be killing sin before sin kills us. Be killing sin before sin kills you. Anger. What ticks you off is my question. I want you to text me. I've got my phone here. Text me right now, okay? And the next few minutes, what makes you angry? We'll leave that on the screen. Who makes you angry? What makes you angry? I mean, it's the political season, right? There's got to be something that you're ticked off about. So text me that, and we'll walk through those in a couple minutes here and see what you got. You can be serious. You can be funny. Let's see what makes you angry, or who makes you angry. Let's hear about it. While you're texting me, let me tell you some things about anger. Some facts. Women are prone to lose their temper statistically 3 times per week, and men 6 times per week. There's something funny there, but I'm not sure what it is. Talk about that with your spouse today, about if that's true or not in your life. Women get angry at people, men get angry at things. Makes sense. Women are verbal in their anger, more likely. Men are physical, more likely. That makes sense, okay. I didn't know this. Singles are twice as likely to get angry as married couples. And married couples are like, no way, we're angrier at each other way more often. I don't know if that's true or not, but interesting. You're most likely to get angry at home. You're more likely to get angry at home than you are at work or church or any other place, because often we get angriest at the people we love the most. In America, 4 million wives every year are physically abused by angry husbands, and 10 million children are physically abused by angry parents. Terrible thing we face. There are 51 known illnesses attributed to anger. Younger people experience anger more than older people, they say. The strongest predictor of anger, they say, is feeling rushed for time. So you're rushed for work, or rushed to eat your dinner, or rushed to get out and get in the car because your husband's honking the horn at you, or anytime you're feeling rushed, or rushed to finish a sermon before 12:15, you know? You feel rushed, that is a predictor of anger, the number one predictor of anger. They say the average office worker experiences desk rage, they call it desk rage, about twice a day. You're mad at your computer for freezing up, or somebody stole your stapler, or somebody took credit for your work, or somebody's late, or somebody's not working, twice a day, maybe more for you, okay? George Gallup, the pollster guy, has come up with who he thinks is the most prone person in America to get angry. It's low-income, stay-at-home mothers. That's a lot of pressure. So maybe that's you, maybe not you. There's actually a thing called the PO'd list. in which they determine which cities are the most angriest in America. It's the real list. You know what? What do you think the most angriest city in America is? Detroit. Come on, Detroit. Who would not be angry living there? Detroit. Their teams lose. They got no businesses. No, I'm kidding. Detroit. I don't know if it's valid or not. Indianapolis is number 19. Okay, and the most serene, calm, happy city in America, Burlington, Vermont. They got maple syrup and all those coats from the Burlington Coat Factory. I don't know what they got going up there, but they're serene, evidently. Here's some other stuff to share with you. Did you know recently, I don't know if you're on social media, if you're on Facebook, Facebook caved in the past year, and they have a like button, but now they have a dislike angry button. So if you comment something like, the Colts are going to win today, you're like, I hate that. You can do that on social media now. We even have a finger that we use to show we're angry. I'm not going to illustrate. You know what I'm talking about. Even the newest iPhone, okay? The newest iPhone update. I don't know if you update your iPhone. I updated mine, the 10.0 or whatever it is. And it's got now emoticons that show degrees of anger. Like a little smiley face, a little bit red, more red, red with devil horns, all kinds of ways you can express your anger. Some of you right now, in your life, come to service today and you're angry at somebody, or somebody's angry at you, or you're angry at something. Or maybe some of you just live in a constant habitual state of anger. Let's see what you're angry at. Let's share a few things. It makes me angry when my employees don't do their job. Oh yeah. When people don't use their turn signal. Oh yeah, this kill those people. Yeah? I'm kidding, it's a joke. When I have to wait in line for fast food. Yeah, that's an oxymoron, right? How about people who air dirty laundry on social media? Oh yeah. Let me keep going here. When my wife yells about me about leaving the toilet seat up. Wait, but then she does. Oh wait, oh my God, we're gonna finish that. That's a good one. Yeah. Youth pastors waking you up to children's songs. So our teens have been here all week. I assume there's been some fun. Pastor Jimmy. How about this? Sassing back and defiance. That's a mother speaking right there. Lies make me angry. People who drive slow in the fast lane. Absolutely. Put them in jail. I'm with that. Stupid people. Okay. I don't know. That's a confession or a... No, I'm kidding. The city of Atlanta. What has Atlanta ever done to you? The Braves. Coca-Cola. I'm angry because I can't see my forehead. Obamacare, okay, all kinds of stuff, yeah, funny. So, the point is, we get angry. There's stuff that makes us mad, right? I hate those cat pictures on social media. Stuff makes us angry, makes us mad. There are 5 types of angry people. I'm going to tell you about them, and I want you to find out who you are and what God has to say. Then I'm going to give you 5 biblical things that the Bible says how to fight and kill anger in your life. The first type of angry person is the machine gun. Maybe you're like a machine gun, okay? They just come in, they lay you have it, they mow you down like a machine gun with verbal assaults or others. This anger, these kind of people, if you're a machine gun angry person, their anger is aggressive and expressive. These are the kind of people who cuss, yell, hit. You know that finger we talked about? They use it, okay? They're bullies, they threat, they have a hairpin trigger. And there's a guy in the Bible who had this type of anger. All of these do. Let me show you. This is Cain from the book of Genesis. Cain and Abel were the sons of Adam and Eve. The first murder was committed out of machine gun type of anger. So Cain and Abel, 2 brothers, they prepare an offering to God in worship. Okay? And they present their offerings before God. And God prefers Abel's to Cain's. Not because of what they presented, but because of their heart and what was behind it. So this is what we read in Genesis 4. Cain was very angry at that. And his face was downcast. His eyes weren't on Jesus. Eyes weren't on anything but himself and his anger. Well, while they were in the field, while Cain and Abel were in the field, Cain attacked his brother Abel and killed him. That's anger. The key word here is attack. The machine gun type of anger is attacking. That's their response. That's their response mechanism. And then immediately, if you have this, you regret it. and you're embarrassed by it, you apologize for it quite often. I like what Will Rogers said. I found this quote by Will Rogers, old-time movie star, and he said this: people who fly into a rage always make a bad landing. It's these people. Proverbs says this. Here's some advice. If you're a machine gunner, here you go. If you cannot control your anger, you are as helpless as a city without walls open to attack. So when you say to somebody, "You make me so mad," you are just confessing that they are controlling your life, that they're more powerful than you in that moment, they're stronger than you in that moment, that they have authority over you. You're saying that I'm like a city with no defensive walls come in and attack me and take me over. Now, we've all said that. We've all had a 2-year-old crying at us and we say, "You make me so mad." That's what that is. That's what he's speaking there about, being defenseless. All right, that's one type of anger. Those are the spewers, okay? The machine gun. Here, let's go to the second one. These are the trash compactors. The trash compactors. Put one in the corner there. You know what a trash compactor is, right? You put your garbage in, and sometimes they're small in your kitchen, or they're big like this one, and it smushes it in there, keeps packing it down, airtight, so you can get a lot of trash in a small space, conserving, space. A lot of people do that with their anger. They're the opposite of the machine gun. Instead of blowing up, they clam up. Instead of being violent, they get silent. They are passive, and they're passive-aggressive often if they're trash compactors. Some of you may be this. These are the people who hold it in a masquerade. They pretend like everything is okay with them. They give you the cold shoulder, These are the kind of people you would say, "You're angry, aren't you?" And they would say, "No, I'm not. I'm fine." "No, you're angry. I can see it." "No, I'm fine." They're compacting it, but everybody knows that they're doing that. It's crock pot anger, right? The machine gun's like microwave. It's instant, it's hot, quick. These people are like crock pot anger. You know what crock pot is, right? It's the machine where in the morning you can put in your ingredients and your meat and your vegetables or whatever, and you put it on low. And you go to work all day long, 8-10 hours, and you come home and it's finally cooked and ready. Erica does that in the winter a lot. We love that. Get a good hot comfort meal when you get home. But some people are like that. The lid is on. It doesn't look hot, but it's going to get there. And when it happens, somebody's going to pay. That's the trash compactor. If you don't talk about it, if you don't talk it out, you're going to take it out on your body. The people who compact their trash and their anger, these are the people who get high blood pressure, chronic pain, headaches, ulcers, that sort of thing. This is very real stuff. There was a guy in the Bible who had this type of anger. His name's Jeremiah. Look at this from Jeremiah 15. He's really expressing he's compacted his anger, and this is how he expressed: "Lord, I never join the people in their merry feasts. I don't go and celebrate. Hold it, I'm so mad. I sat alone because your hand was on me. I was filled with indignation at their sins. Why then does my suffering continue? Why is my wound incurable? I'll tell you why. Because you've held it in. You've held it in. You've held your anger in." That was Jeremiah's problem. He was angry at sin. He was angry at God. He was angry at the persecution he faced, and he held it in. He didn't get around God's people and talk it out. He had no friends, and he felt just constantly it was eating at him. So think about gluttony last week. We're talking about what you eat. Anger is not about what you eat, but it's about what's eating you. And that's Jeremiah's problem. So there's a third type. Let's go to the third type. It's the martyrs. Some of you may be a martyr. Actually, some of you may be all of these, a little bit, so that's fair enough. These are the guys who are professionals at having pity parties. You remember have a pity party? And they invite themselves to every single one. They're very passive. When they are angered, either they do something to anger somebody, or somebody's angry at them, or when anything angry happens in their life, they blame themselves. They do. They put it all on themselves. They're the martyr. What did I do wrong? Why did this happen to me? What's wrong with me? They're a martyr for it all. They punish themselves. If you are always, here's how you might know if you're a martyr. If you're always shoulding yourself. I should have done this. I should have said that. I should have thought of that. I should have been better. I should have. They're the martyr, perhaps. The number one sign is a number one sign. There are probably a couple that are tied. At least the clinical therapists say that is a reason for depression is anger. It's not the only result of depression. There are many results of that, but one of them is anger. As a matter of fact, therapists, I think, call this frozen anger. So if you go to a therapist with depression in your life, one of the things they're going to explore in your life is, who are you angry at? What are you angry with? What are you disappointed? Are you mad at God? Are you mad at your spouse? Mad at your kids? What are you mad at? Sometimes it's frozen anger that we don't realize it's just compacted in there, or we've said it's my problem, I'll deal with it. We've martyred ourselves, and it's in there. There was a guy in the Bible who had this type of anger. He's the elder or the older son in the parable of the prodigal son. You know this one? Look at this, Luke 15. The story is, there's an older son and a younger son. The younger son takes his dad's money and goes off and blows it all on whiskey and women. Really, he's all out there. And he comes home repentant, sorry, and dad throws a party for him. The elder brother was so angry, he would not even go to the party. So his father went out and pleaded with him. Know anybody like this? They always have to be coaxed, pleaded with, placated, pampered, and if they're not happy, then nobody's happy. That's a martyr. There's another one. It's the stealth bomber. The stealth bomber. You know the stealth, right? The stealth plane there, it flies under radar. You don't even know what's coming, then all of a sudden it's on top of you. Stealth bomber angry people are like this. They lay low, quiet, come out of nowhere, and kapow! Right on you with their anger. Nobody like that? And it can express itself in many ways. Their motto is, don't get mad, get even. Saw it coming. That's who they are. You know one. Or maybe you are one. Okay? They never tell you face to face that they're angry with you. They never do. They're more passive aggressive than anything, really. They're really sly, or they'll give you constant jabs at you, or they'll talk to other people about you with constant jabs, or maybe you do this. They sabotage you, and you can never catch them. Or if they're caught, they do one of two things. They don't own up to it, or they say this to you. Can't you take a joke? Well, they're not joking, they're a jerk is what they are. That's the stealth bomber. And the last one is the prosecuting attorney. The prosecuting attorney is the last one. Okay? They plan. They have exhibits. They have exhibit A and exhibit B and exhibit C. These are the kind of people that have a folder at their home and they're printing out emails and they're putting them in there, keeping them together. They have pictures in there. They go through people's trash, getting examples. You know, that's extreme, but they dig for dirt. They troll your Facebook page. They're going to badger the witnesses. They're going to line up testimonies. Justice must be served because they're coming at you at some point. The biblical example of this is the Pharisees. The people who were at Jesus. Look at this passage right here, Luke 6. The enemies of Jesus, that's the Pharisees, were wild with rage. You know why they were mad at Jesus? Because he was healing people, loving people, and giving grace to people, and serving people, and washing their feet. Yeah, all kinds of stuff you should really be mad at, right? It's ridiculous. But they were wild with rage, and they began to discuss what to do with him. Now this is Luke 6. There's 20-some chapters in Luke, right? And so for many chapters, they're planning their attack, and they're getting witnesses lined up, and exhibit A and exhibit B. That's who they are. Which one are you? I wonder which one are you? There's 5 of those. Somebody told me in the first service, they said, I'm a 20%er. I said, what's that? They said, 20% of each. 100% angry at all those things. Anger is a learned response. You learn it from your parents or society or movies. So I think it can be unlearned. And the Bible gives us some things. I'm going to tell you 5 things in the next few minutes about how to deal with anger, how to kill anger in your life. Because we better be killing anger, the sin of anger, or it will kill us. First of all, let me give you this. There's a price tag to anger. Anger has a price tag. You're less likely to get angry if you know the cost. So it's football season, NFL. Maybe everybody here doesn't watch it, but I know a lot of people do. And one of the interesting things you see is in a NFL game when they're like, they're trying to get down and score a touchdown, and somebody will get mad and they'll slam their helmet down, or they'll grab somebody by the face mask, or they'll punch somebody, or they'll push somebody out of bounds. And what does the ref do? He throws the flag and gives them a penalty, 15 yards. And you can see the quarterback or the coach telling them, just stop, you're giving us a penalty that we don't want to pay. The same is true when we explode in anger, or when anger comes out and us in the wrong way. There is a penalty to be paid, and God doesn't want that in our life. Let me show you some of the costs associated with anger, sinful anger, right from the book of Proverbs. Proverbs 29 says this: And I underline the cost for you. An angry person causes trouble. Yeah, all over the place, right? They just cause problems. And a person with a quick temper sins a lot. So there's a two price. When you anger, you're going to cause problems and sin a lot. I don't want to pay that price. I don't want that in my life. How about this next one? Proverbs 15. Hot tempers cause arguments. Who wants to be in arguments all the time? Angry people, evidently. Here's the third one. Proverbs 14. Anger causes mistakes. You can be angry and working on your car and you'll have a problem. Or if you're mad and you're cooking dinner and you have a problem. Or just in your life, it just makes you make mistakes. Send a text when you shouldn't have sent one because you're angry. And lastly, here's another one. There's many of these, but here's another one. People with hot tempers do foolish things. They say things they shouldn't say, go places they shouldn't go, slam things, and knock holes in the wall. You know, these foolish things. Some grander than others. Just knowing, I think, that anger costs us something might potentially help us. Because it can cost you your job in some extreme situations, your reputation, respect, authority. I mean, you can lose a lot. There's a price to be paid, and anger is not worth the price tag. Here's another one. I want you to think about reflecting before reacting. So, my parents said this to me. I said this to my parents. Many of you, all of you probably experienced this when your mom or dad, when you were a kid, did something dumb. What they do? They said, God gave you a brain. Use it. Have you said that? Have you been told to? Of course, it's standard parenting equipment. You have to know that, or you can't be a legitimate parent. You got to know that to give it to your kids, right? And then they'll give it to their kids. It's just standard stuff. We have to think before we react. That's really what the Bible says. Again, 3 passages out of many I can show you, 3 quick ones. James 1 says this. We got it? Everyone, that's everyone, should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. Because human anger does not produce the righteousness that God has for us. So slow to speak and quick to listen leads to not being angry. How about this from Proverbs 13? Sensible people always think before they act. That sounds like an advertisement on the Hallmark Channel. Sensible people always think before they act. But it's true. It's very true. They think. So nonsensical people, they just kind of respond and then they've got cleanup to happen. How about this from Proverbs 29? A fool gives full vent to his anger. Just lets it go, lets it fly. A fool does that. But a wise person quietly holds it back. They reflect before reacting. And I bring this to you. Let's go somewhere with this. There are 3 reasons why you get angry. 3. Let me give them to you. Put them on the screen here. It's fear, frustration, and hurt. We got them? Hurt, frustration, and fear. Those are the 3 ways, the 3 things that make you angry. Let me talk about them. So pain is one thing that makes you angry. There's parents in this room. Have you done this? Been walking through your house barefoot in your sock feet. You step on a toy or a Lego. You don't go, oh, praise Jesus. Thank you, Lord. No, you want to cuss at that moment, right? You want to punch something. Oh, Lord! You know, anger comes out in you. Sometimes it's physical, and it comes out in you, you know. Now, it's also true emotional. When you're emotionally pained by a parent or a situation or just something has emotionally wounded you, it often can come out in anger. Or vice versa. Somebody's angry at you, and you're like, why is this person so angry at me? I didn't really do anything to them. Might be because they're really hurt. It has nothing to do with you, but there's a hurt in their life and it just comes out. So hurt. Frustration is another, number 2. That's how we get anger. So pay attention if you're a control freak. There are control freaks in this room. You're going to struggle with this one right here. Because you get frustrated because you can't control things. When we can't control a situation, it makes us angry. Truth is, we all deal with that, right? When you're made to wait and you don't want to wait for line for fast food, one example, or something won't work the way you want it to work, or I'll give you 3 letters, the BMV. Have you been to the BMV? Take a number 9012. What? And you got to sit there for a long time. It can do that. Or this is a real thing. If you are a parent, been a parent, and you have a 4-month-old, say 4-month-old or 6-month-old little baby who still needs a lot of attention your whole life. And at 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, you're pacing the living room and they're screaming. That can frustrate you. and that can get you mad. That's why there's an actual thing called shaken baby syndrome, because some people can get so mad, they don't know what to do, they shake the baby, you know? And every parent has wanted to. If you think you don't, you're lying, because everybody's had that moment like just, you're so frustrated. Had that? It produces anger in you. Or if you've ever been to the grocery store with a 9-year-old or a 16-year-old and they're having a temper tantrum, and you're frustrated, don't you just want to hug them? Till they can't breathe anymore? I mean, seriously. Just, I love you. Frustration. The third one is fear. Fear is the third thing that makes us angry. When we feel threatened or attacked. Some sort of way. It's like any animal. You put any animal in a corner and threaten it, it's going to fight back, even if it's a cat or a dog or any animal will do that. So will people. So here's my point. Reflect before you respond. When you're feeling anger, when anger is coming at you, sleep on it. Take time. Get back on things and reflect. What am I really experiencing? Am I really angry at this? Or am I hurt? Am I frustrated? Am I fearful? And you can get to the heart of it. That's how you fight anger. That's why it says a fool gives full vent to his anger, and a wise person thinks about it for a little bit. Because they can get to the point of it. Some of you need to write these 3 things down on your hand and have it there all week for you. Let's keep rolling here. So, there's a third thing I want to tell you. That you can be angry and not sin. You can be angry and not sin. It's possible. Look at Ephesians 4. Be angry and do not sin. Okay, all right. Do not let the sun go down on your anger, and do not let the devil get a foothold. Get rid of all bitterness, rage and anger, brawling and slander, along with every form of malice. So this verse implies that you can be angry and not sin. Not all anger is sin. Self-centered anger is sin, and anger that is uncontrolled is sin. We know that. But my question is, when does anger become a sin? What is and what is not a sin? Here's a couple thoughts. Number one is when anger causes you to break a command. I get angry, I take God's name in vain. I get angry and I harm somebody physically. I get angry and I get mad at God and I ignore Him and run from Him. But I break a command. Secondly, anger becomes a sin when it hurts a relationship with somebody else. This will hit home. Some of you in this room are angry at a parent or a child or a spouse. And when anger breaks a relationship, there's most likely sin involved someplace. And third, when it hurts your relationship with God. You know, we all get angry at God. We sure do. When He doesn't answer our prayers in the time that we want Him to, in the way we want Him to, we get angry with God. So it says, don't let the sun go down. The point is, deal with it. Don't let it simmer and fester over weeks and months and months and months. The illustration here is like a day. Like if you can deal with it that day. I mean, after you reflect, obviously, but deal with it that day. Don't let the devil get a foothold. Don't let him give an opportunity or a foothold, it says. Actually, the Greek word there is topos, which means room. Satan, when you nurse anger, it really just gives Satan a guest room in your heart. That's what it does. And Satan loves to live in your heart with his toxic anger. This is why sometimes you go to bed angry at somebody and you'll dream about it because Satan's right there in your heart. Or you'll be restless about it, or you can't fall asleep and you're thinking about it, or you wake up not really refreshed. Sometimes it's because of that. It says get rid of bitterness, rage, anger, brawling, and slander, along with malice. Now this is a progression. Let me show you this. First of all, let's walk through bitterness. This is got a sour taste in my mouth. What you've done left a sour taste in my mouth. Then rage. Now I'm agitated. I'm frustrated. My blood pressure is rising. Then anger. Now I'm hot. Your tone changes. Your volume changes. Your intensity changes. You're probably not sitting anymore. You're standing. Then it comes to brawling. Now I'm coming at you. Now I'm coming at your face. Now I'm coming at your body. Now I'm coming for you. And then it says, then slander. Slander is not only, now am I coming at you, but I'm bringing an audience. Everybody's going to know what you did. And then finally it's malice. Get rid of malice. Malice is, I'm going to do whatever sick thing I can think of to you because of what you did. You see how it gets worse and worse and worse? You know what the point of that is? To kill you. Because these are deadly sins. Sin will kill you. And he sees, get rid of it. Get rid of even bitterness. When somebody does something and that bitter taste in your mouth, boy, you better deal with it quickly. Because this happens. This is where, like malice, that's where divorce happens and restraining orders and lawsuits and people go to jail. And it all starts with not dealing with a little bit of anger in our hearts and our lives. It can consume us. We need to figure it out. While we're young, I think, is better, obviously. My last point is this. There is a righteous anger. Man, you can go ahead and get backstage and get ready. There is such a thing as righteous anger. Meaning there's a good anger. We've talked about sinful anger, but there is a good type of anger. It's called righteous anger. Look at Ecclesiastes 3. There is a time for everything. There is. Time for everything, including anger. We have to know when the right time is in right place, in right circumstances. And then 1 Corinthians 13, verse 5 actually, love is not easily angered. It's angered, but it's not easily angered. Sometimes actually the loving thing to do is to get angry. If somebody were to attack my wife or my kids, I would get angry, and that would be a right response. Could you imagine a husband whose wife and children got attacked and they were like ambivalent to it? Oh, it's okay. You would not think that they love their family, right? Sometimes love is the right response to that. There is both a righteous and unrighteous anger. Righteous anger is when we get mad and angry at the things that God gets mad at. Christianity, folks, is not that we just be nice all the time. I know we want to be nice. We should be nice. There's a kindness that comes with Christianity. But the truth is, if we love Jesus, we're going to have a problem with some things. We're going to have a problem with sin. If we love God's people, we're going to have a problem with injustice, or people going to bed hungry, or 4 million wives being beat, or 10 million children being harmed. We're going to have a problem with that. We're going to be angry at those things. That's a real thing. The fact is, if you love something, that means there's something you're going to have a problem with that tries to attack that thing, which is the kingdom of God that we love. But that doesn't mean the anger is bad in itself. God gets angry. God has a very long fuse. Some of us have very short fuses, and that's destructive. But God has a long fuse, but he does get angry. You know how many times it says in the Bible that God or Christ got angry? 375 times. Kind of sounds like a lot, doesn't it? God gets angry. It doesn't control him. I'm going to show you in a minute what I mean by that. But the truth is, if we as people continue in sin and harm each other as a world, then we are putting ourselves in the fury and the wrath of God. You want to read a disturbing book? Read In the Hands of a Vengeful God. The Hands of a Wrathful God. That'll scare you. It's Halloween. That's a good scary book about being in the wrath of God. If you never have righteous anger, you got a problem. You have a spiritual problem. If you're not angry at injustice and problems in the world, you have a spiritual problem. Because if we love God, we're going to have a problem with some things. Now let me show you, I'm going to wrap with this story. It's from John chapter 2. Put it on the screen here. Just give me 3 minutes and then we'll wrap it here. This is the story of Jesus in the temple. The famous story of Jesus getting angry. And we misunderstand one little point of that. There's one this line of 6 words. I'm going to show you 6 words that if you understand these 6 words, it's kind of life-changing for us in this story. Here it is. When it was almost time for the Jewish Passover, Jesus went up to Jerusalem. In the temple courts, he found people selling cattle, sheep, and doves, and others sitting at tables exchanging money. Really what they were doing is they were just ripping people off. That's what it was. So Jesus is mad. So he made a whip out of cords. And he drove all from the temple courts, both sheep and cattle, and he scattered the coins of the money changers, overturned their tables. To those he sold doves, he said, "Get these out of here. Stop turning my Father's house into a market." Now I know most of the time we think of Jesus as Mr. Rogers, but not here. He's Chuck Norris right now. He's William Wallace from Braveheart. Oscar de la Hoya. He's ready to roll. And people like to say, look, Jesus got angry. Now let me help you understand this. These words right in the middle. So he made a whip. So the idea is this. Jesus doesn't come into the temple, see all this, and he doesn't machine gun flip out. He's not been suppressing all this, and then it finally comes out. He doesn't just grab some cord and start beating people. He made a whip. Those are the important words. He sits, and he calculates and he thinks, and he makes a whip, and he makes a plan in righteous anger how to deal with this. This is not a temper tantrum. This is a cleansing. It's Passover. And at Passover, what Jewish people did and still do is they go through their house and they sweep out all the leaven. That's the like yeast that you put in bread that makes it rise, because it's symbolic of sin. And sin in our life puffs us up, makes us pride-filled. And so the symbolism in their homes to get rid of the leaven is to get rid of sin. That's why it's the Passover. This is what Jesus is doing. They would brush it out of their cupboards, and he's taking a whip and he's brushing it out of the temple. That's what he's doing. He's cleansing the temple. And that's a great story of righteous anger. So let me close with this, and band, you can come on out. Let me just ask this. Are you tired of being angry? You tired of having people push your buttons? Are you tired of having a short fuse? There are three things I said that cause anger: hurt, frustration, and fear. Jesus can heal all that. Are you hurt? Your heart hurt? Jesus can heal your heart. Are you frustrated? He can give you peace. Are you fearful? The power of God living in you and His Spirit can give you peace. I hope today that you hear that there is a way out of being controlled by anger, and that is the love of God. The antidote for anger is the love of God. The group here is going to